How we doing, Slender? It's a nice Friday night. Everything going
It's
good
been
for you?
snowing.
Yeah, it's been snowing for like a week.
I played out in the snow today.
Nice.
We
I
uh we
know.
got an inner tube. We inflated it. We were sliding down the hill in it. Then it
Yeah,
exploded.
oh, did you? Yeah, that's the danger of the inner tube as the sledding device.
Yeah, I don't think my son understood the concept, and he tried to like run and jump, and like his hand went right through and smashed it. And I was like, "It's not. You can't like leap into the air. You gotta kind of like slide into it."
Yeah, not on the inner tube. No, no, no. We use that's why I always get the regular like plasticky sleds. Eventually they crack and break, but it's usually a longer term degeneration of the sled versus the inner tube, which has an explosive end.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a highly impromptu sort of thing, so we were using what we had. We had like a Lowe's box we were using for a while. We had like a lid to a fruit box that we were using for a while, and then we were like, let's use the inner tube.
When I was in college, we it was around 2000, like was my um freshman year winter, and Virginia got that was one of the years Virginia got like mega snow. Yeah, where every like 4 or 5 years Virginia will get like a storm that will shut everything down for like a week. And all the kids like in my dorm, they went to the cafeteria and they stole the cafeteria trays and they were using that as sleds, and it was all fun and games till the one kid broke his arm because those things were not meant to be sleds. It was but so sleds, you got to put some effort in and thought into what you're going to be flying down a hill with beneath you. It makes me think of Christmas Vacation, right? With Chevy Chase.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, Bride
Well,
of Slender is giving you the thumbs up saying it was fun.
yeah, and there was one point like we were doing the hill kind of on the side of the house, and there's like a part at the end where they no longer leveled out for the foundation of the house, and it just kind of drops into the ravine. And I went over the edge there.
So
And
we
the
got
great thing
some
about the inner tube is you can kind of just tuck your head behind the inflated part and hope that you don't hit anything.
so we got two of our most favored fans in the audience saying hello. We got Bad Take Bojan, who is a great fan of the show, always tweeting out when we're going. We got also Zombie Box Reviews coming in, and
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
Bride of Slender, who was already referenced as being a participant in the sledding fun at your home. But I don't know if she's like legally obligated to be a fan. Although I shouldn't say that because my wife, who is not at all a fan and doesn't care. So, oh, I think we're gonna have a fun show. We're gonna talk about something that we've touched on before, which is the disappearance of physical media. In Slender has an article and story that he shared earlier in the week that we kind of thought would be a good thing to launch a discussion on from a game standpoint.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, Osmora, hello. Thanks for everyone being here. So yeah, because it's a running theme, which is that companies are trying to get rid of physical media so that you never own anything. Never own anything at all. Oh, hello, Mrs. Flu. Welcome. It looks like Culture Show must have just wrapped up because I see the numbers jumping. I see the chat going there. So welcome to the Culture Raid. Hey, Culture Raid. We are going to talk about some software as a service, which is the ultimate goal of all corporations right now, is so that you will constantly have to pay them to access your games. The article you shared that we're going to talk about real quick right here came from an Ubisoft. Yep, SaaS is the shorthand for it. Software as a subscription service.
Yeah, it's bad.
I am
I
not a
hate it.
fan of it. Yeah, awesome one. I don't own this stream. No. No,
And
but
you are happy.
and you're happy about that. Yeah, so a high level Ubisoft exec came out today, and not today, but this week, was making comments that gamers need to understand that they're and get comfortable with the fact that they're not going to own games anymore. They need to just get comfortable with the subscription model, which is some bullshit. But I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
know
don't
you
know
have
if
strong
people
feelings
have
about it.
realized this, but like across every medium where it's happening, the subscription model is failing. Like it's failing hard. It is an incredibly good way to gain short-term profits, but in the long term, all the customers go somewhere else because they get sick of it.
Yeah, the common nerds making the good reference, the timely reference, as the World Economic Forum is doing their little meeting this week, which is you're gonna live in the pod and eat the bugs, and you're gonna be happy about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Emperors is right. This is the same mentality that was behind that outburst by the anime localizer. That we're not here to serve the customers and what their wants are. You're gonna just take what we tell you.
No, well, and that's the extra insidious part of the stuff that the Ubisoft executive was saying, because they're acting like, oh, well, we don't want to shift specifically to a subscription model, but in order for a subscription model to be successful, we need more people to get on board with subscription models. And it's like, no, what you're really saying is we would like to close off all less profitable avenues and force you into this avenue, which in the short term, at a monthly rate, is more profitable for us and puts you in our ecosystem so that we can inundate you with other shit we want you to buy.
Yeah, and specifically what I'm highlighting here in this article is this is related to what they've rebranded the Ubisoft subscription service, which is Ubisoft Plus Library, which will now go for 17.99 a month.
Which is unbelievably expensive. Like
Yes,
17.99 a month for one studio's game library.
that's $215.88 a year.
Yeah.
And I know that at Ubisoft's peak, I may have been buying the Assassin's Creed game and maybe one other game they were putting out that year.
Dude, at Ubisoft's peak, I may have bought two Ubisoft
Yeah.
games in the same year.
Yeah, so in which case
That's 120 to 140 bucks.
yeah, so
Right?
they are, and with the idea that, oh, but you get access to our old library if the games work.
Um
Oh, oh
yeah,
yeah.
funny because Ubisoft is also the company that just 6 months ago completely stopped supporting one of the Assassin's Creed games. I can't remember which one.
I don't remember. I know as the only one that I really like going back and playing was what's the pirate one? The Assassin's Creed pirate one. Uh
Yeah,
the
as of November 21st, or as of November 1st, 2023, French video game publisher Ubisoft has announced that it will be decommissioning online services for 10 older games starting from January 25th, 2024. This means the players will no longer be able to access multiplayer features. Link Ubisoft.
yeah.
Like,
Thanks to Chad, by the way. The answer is Black Flag, which was the best Assassin's Creed game because it was the most just fun.
because it was the least Assassin's Creedy.
You, it was
Like the best part about Black Flag was I could go do not Assassin's Creed things, and that's
did
what I wanted to do in that game.
I 100% spent a whole bunch more time than I should have collecting sea shanties.
Dude, I collected all the sea shanties. I max upgraded the ship. I defeated all the legendary ships. Then I
Yeah,
got really bored.
but it was still the most fun Assassin's Creed game, and
Mm-hmm.
so
I
it
100%ed it. It's the only
yeah,
Assassin's Creed game I've 100%ed.
and honestly, Ubisoft has launched so many broken games in the last 5 years. Oh,
Brotorius!
oh, you got the intro there, Mad. Welcome to the show, Mad Morgan himself, Mad Cheesemo. What's up,
Hello.
Mad?
Oh, wow. Way to
That
bring the
was
energy. Shit.
Well, we'll just wait for the smoke break for me to ask the question
Hello.
that is probably
What's
bringing Matt
Gucci,
down.
my ninjas?
What in the butt?
Oh, let's see. Also, one says Ubisoft also doesn't allow you to play old disc games without an internet account. Oh, that sucks. Do they? I haven't checked if they put like a DRM online thing. Oh, common nerd. Matt is here. All right, I'm out. Well, on your way out, smash that like button. Just
Leave a comment. Leave a comment in in the regular comments that says I don't like when Matt is on the show.
So
And-
much for me buying products from Jesse.
see, like Mrs. Flu is great. Look at that. Smash that like button. Smashers do. That's nice. There you go. Matt, what do you think of having another game subscription service that Ubisoft wants you to pay
I already have it.
$17.99? You have the Ubisoft one?
Yeah. I don't
Ugh.
play any Ubi.
Like,
So you're just basically flushing $18 down the toilet.
No, I
every month.
don't. No, I don't pay them. I'm just a member.
oh, okay. Like,
I'm a long time member of Ubisoft. I played their games for a long time.
I
So
know
I
I
get special
probably
treatment.
I probably do have an Ubisoft account from signing up years ago.
Yeah,
But I
for
definitely-
fucking Ghost Recon Future Soldier. That's how long I've had mine.
Oh, look
Hey,
at that.
Mrs. Flu.
Hey there, been a minute. Yeah. I was genuinely worried about you, Mad, because you went radio silence after Sunday. And
Man, listen. I didn't come back to talk about the past. Unless it's something I want to talk about from the past. Feel like I was skipped all the way to
wound is still
95.
too fresh.
all right. Apparently Garrett got his package. sent
Oh,
out today,
nice.
so good for them. I am not all right. So right now, what is Game Pass Ultimate is like $16 a month, right? 14, 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah.
And that includes Ubisoft games. I've seen those Assassin's Creed games in there. Why would I pay Ubisoft's one if I just get the Game Pass one? That's what I want to know.
Man, I don't know, dude. Ubisoft. Whatever. I don't care for them.
It's bad, and like I am actually of the exact opposite opinion of this executive who thinks that we all need to get used to not owning our games because
What a dick, right?
well, the second it becomes successful too, like why did the streaming boom kick off? It's because Netflix was doing really well for a while there. Netflix, Hulu, a couple of the OG streaming services, they were super successful.
But
They're
wait,
why I
time-
ditched cable. You
Time
know?
out, Slender, real quick. Do you remember why Netflix got really successful? Because it had all the different movie studio shit on there. Like it was, you could go to one place and not have
I
to
actually
worry.
liked the old way they did it, where I could be like, "Hey, send me these freaking physical media copies of these movies, and then I'll send them back at the end of the month, and you'll send me a whole bunch more." Like I like,
Yeah,
that.
because I will remember.
Well, you won't, but I
I was
do.
more bringing up a good point because Ubisoft may do what EA does. EA has their own like little subscription
Yeah, I
service
have
that's
that
annoying.
too.
And everybody's gonna jump on this bandwagon. The second one of them succeeds, everybody else is gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna have the same problem we had with the TV studios. They're gonna shift to a quantity over quality model, and they're just gonna give you a whole bunch of shit content because they need enough to fill out a streaming service.
Yeah, so Emperor's is saying what I said, which is it was the hub, right?
Yeah,
so a
man.
subscription service works when it's the hub, and that's why out of the gaming ones, I when I got my new PC, it gave me 3 months of the Game Pass for free, and I signed up for it, and I checked it out, and I was like, oh, it has EA games, it has Ubisoft games.
Mhm,
Obviously,
mhm.
Microsoft owns Activision and all the rest of them now,
Mhm.
so they're on there. So
But
that
basically, history
is
is
the hub.
repeating itself in the gaming sphere because
Yeah.
Netflix was the hub, but then Disney and
Mhm.
Paramount Plus and
Everybody
HBO
wanted to
Max
steal.
and everybody was like, "We want to do a streaming service. Netflix, you can't have our shit anymore. We're airing it on our own streaming service."
which
Yeah,
is why
when
it
I
doesn't
think
work.
old school, like OG streaming services, Netflix and Screen Junkies Plus are two of the ones that come up like trailblazers.
And with gaming
Screen
services, it's the
Junkies
same thing. It
Plus.
was like, okay, Steam and like Xbox They had the Xbox Game Pass, and then Sony had their thing. But now all the different gaming companies are going to do their own streaming service. No.
And I'll say one of the reasons Steam is so successful is because it had everything, right? Up until the other studios started trying to make their own version of their game streaming, like Steam. And Steam would run the crazy sales where you'd buy things for $2 and they'd be in your library and you'd never
Dude, I
play
have
them.
like 50 Steam games I've never played.
Yeah,
Because
no,
those sales, I'm like, it's only $4. I'd be crazy not to buy it right now, right?
fucking Mark, the cyborg named Mark. He
Oh, so-
yeah, the cyborg named Mark. He gave me a couple of games. I'm like, yeah, man, as soon as I get my new PC, I'm gonna play them for real. I haven't played them.
See, Common Nerds, Netflix signed a deal with Atlas. Watch them become the gaming hub. I know.
Oh
Netflix
yeah, I
has-
forgot about the games.
Netflix has been talking about getting into gaming for years. Oh, bye, Mrs. Flu. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, what's Waves? Does anyone know? I don't know what Waves is.
So when the moon's gravity pulls on the ocean and a woman starts her bleeding.
The moon cycle. What? Did you kick
How you get
yourself
waves? No.
What? I may have removed him.
Why? For science?
Aw. Smash.
I was sitting here, I was like, come on, Matt, explain waves. Like, for real. I'm like, sure. Come on, you can do this.
What is that earth science from 9th grade? I can remember this.
He's right,
Waves.
though. I mean, without a moon orbiting us, we would not have tides.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then it does help regulate cycles of all types.
Yeah.
So-
I love pretending gravity's real like the rest of us.
Well, that's why the term lunacy came about, because apparently when you act crazy, it's the moon.
Oh, Mad Hatter came from people who formed hats because they used mercury and it made them go crazy. That's where Mad Hatter comes from.
I'm trying to
see.
follow the comments right now.
right
I'm so
now, I'm
confused.
telling you. Right now, I'm telling you. There.
The sun.
Oh wait.
The sun.
No,
Bride of
I'm
Slender
not a
is saying-
sailor.
no, I think she's talking to
Jeez.
her, she's talking about her husband.
Oh, okay.
We can put her on timeout. Let's see here. Put user in timeout. There we go. She's timeouted.
Oh my god, you
you
timed
actually
out.
did it.
You're wow. Okay.
You banned her.
Oh no, you timed out my girlfriend as well. How dare you?
I mean, did she sync up with my bride's moon cycle? Because if so, I can time her out too.
Oh, you don't think she's still monstrating?
Monstrating?
Was that when we discovered that somehow across the entire country, all of our spouses and significant others were
Yes.
somehow?
Yeah.
I told my wife about that, and she was like, "How is that possible? It's got to just be a coincidence." I was like, "I don't think it is.
Nuh-uh.
You guys are all conspiring."
Yeah, that's how they take men down. I've seen the cover of Handmaid's Tale. I see y'all organizing.
They're still pushing a subscription service, but they left the ability to purchase perpetual licenses.
I guess that was talking about Wave again.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Are you sure? He
I
didn't say
bleed
moon
too.
one time.
Time me out. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm not timing anyone else out. I don't need
You're-
a new bit. I've already got bits that piss everybody off.
I know you do. I'm trying to anticipate that now, and you're still quicker on the trigger than I think. So this is ridiculous. This software as a service in gaming. I mean, it's bullshit. And this is, what they really are trying to do on this is kill the secondary market, which they've hated for years, which is people trading games with their friends, or GameStop, where you trade it in and you get credit, and then GameStop sells it. There's no.
Yeah, I hate the shift to the subscription model, this whole software as a service, all this crap, because it's fucking lazy. Like, it's lazy. It used to be when you wanted to, I don't know, get your customers to give you more money, you would offer them more, whether it be more product or, you know, something more convenient,
But
better
that costs
product,
money.
better service. Yeah, like you would give them something more and then they would pay you more. But nowadays, these fucking executives are just like, no, we don't want to make any more or give them any more. We should just really start charging them.
I think
We
that
need to further monetize our customers.
I think there's a sense of trial and error, like with crack or heroin, right? Like
Yeah,
if
we
you
need to
stomp
get
it
you
out,
in there. We need to get you addicted.
but if we stomp it out too much, then you're gonna like, oh man, I'm gonna go somewhere else for my fix. So yes, you do want to cut it, you do want to, stomp it, but you don't want to do it to the point to where you get negative returns, i.e., people stop coming. You may be saving money by giving it like a 0.5% of actual heroin, but you're going to cost yourself in the long run with customers. I think everything really pretty much comes back down to West Baltimore, if you think about it.
All right, the wild.
Yeah, M per M is like a credit, a sale price, a promo. Like there would be things that they would do to try and entice you to purchase a product or get in there and look at the product. But now it's just like, no. Just give us money every month for the rest of your natural born fucking life. And we'll provide you with half the content we used to put out.
And Mars is making the thing that really bothers me, which is when you've invested money into owning something and then a company comes along and says you don't own it anymore. If you pay close attention to the terms and conditions when you buy anything digitally, it really says that you're just getting a long-term rental access until either they don't have the game anymore, if it's or movie or television show, or until they decide they don't want you to have access. Like if they find out you use naughty language on another website, they can pull your license for games and not let you play. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like how they can take things away, but I do like the accessibility and the easy access to movies. That helps. And it would help if somebody's Plex library wasn't in goddamn 240p.
240p.
It was so bad.
You reduce that resolution every time you bring it up.
So yeah, I have about 2 movies in 4K because I wanted to
You owe me $5 because I was like, well, I'll watch Freelance, but the quality was so bad I had to go and rent it just to have it in 4K, like instead of like a grosso poor person.
That one, Freelance.
Dude, halfway through the year, he's gonna accuse you of adding those things to your library in negative 4K.
He's gonna be like, you've got an old hand crank projector going on your Plex server. What was wrong? It was 720p for Freelance because that.
Really? You could tell, bro.
Yeah, well, some things
just watch it on a smaller screen. You'll be all right.
I thought you had the Magic television that upscaled.
Yeah, and it was struggling.
You son of a bitch. It's some stuff is only available in DVD, right? And when I can't spend tons of money. Although I have discovered that the eBay still has a thriving market for secondary sales of Blu-rays and discs where you can.
Nice. That's what you need to start doing. Delete all those goddamn holiday Hallmark fucking movies you have on there.
I'm sorry that my wife enjoys them, so I make sure they're available on the Plex library.
Well, Christmas is over.
Yeah.
Hallmark does Christmas all year round. I don't need to delete them. You just move on from them. Just don't play them.
Yeah, but then you're going to be whining about the space. I'm Chad. I can't upload everything in 4K because of memory.
Not to mention, when I'm scrolling through the movie library, it really sucks that I have to scroll by all these movies I know I'm never going to watch.
Right?
So just move on. It's
I'm trying to move on, but it takes a lot longer because the library's too big.
Yeah, how about you move on in technology?
I'm sorry that I've built a Plex library with almost 2,700 movies and shared it with you ungrateful bastards.
And 1,800 of them are Hallmark movies.
No, I have them on a playlist, so I can tell you exactly how many. There's about 106.
That's 106 too many.
Yeah, that's 106 times that I have to scroll past something that I'm never gonna watch.
Oh yeah, another thing music software companies are doing now is they charge upgrade costs and give you nothing new in the deal. Yeah, I do. I remember when Tidal was starting. Tidal was
Yeah, of course. You don't have to
and
tell
they
us.
and they were like, we're gonna give you uncompressed audio if you pay extra. It's like no one cares about streaming uncompressed audio, so
I
no one.
love my shit uncompressed. I'm like, what is this beef pressed or pulled?
Oh, I don't
I don't
even
know.
know.
I think music services are outdated at this point. It's like if you're gonna do a music thing, uh, you're
I have
gonna have to
YouTube
find a way to
Music.
get me to stop paying for YouTube because
Yeah,
they'll throw
because it
music
comes
in
with
for
music.
free.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has YouTube Music on there,
And Google Podcast, but that's moving over to YouTube Music soon as well.
Like back in the day, I had Pandora, but then I was like, wait,
Yep.
YouTube does music? I'll just do YouTube then. It's the same price. Well, now,
Yeah,
granted, it's a little more now, but still worth it.
But it's amazing because you get YouTube and YouTube Music.
Yep. I get
Yeah,
commercial-free
and,
viewing. I get music. It's a good deal. It's the only thing that keeps me there.
I'm watching somebody else is showing like their on their phone YouTube things, and an ad comes on because they don't have YouTube Premium. And
Right? I'm like,
this
fucking.
is the most irritating thing I've ever
Yep.
seen.
And not only is it irritating, but you're like, this is what they pay to advertise? No, these were the advertisements.
Yeah, I mean, I thank God I have Premium when it's an election season, because Slender knows we're in a sometimes competitive zone, and
Competitive
every friggin' ad for, like, when I was watching at my office when I used to be going into the office to work, and YouTube would have ads. Every ad was just one after another. It was like all the candidates that would be somehow within your geographic zone, and it was annoying. I was done with it.
Hey kids, you like illegal immigrants? Well, dial 44444.
All right, I think we're ready. You want to try?
Mad, nobody is illegal. Humans aren't illegal.
Are
That's
you ready?
funny
All right,
because
so
people are
Slender,
dumb.
Mad wasn't here in the pre-show, but I told you that I had a surprise because I'm gonna see if you knew about this.
I bet I
Because
do.
you probably did too. I'm gonna share something real quick, and I'm gonna ask you to tell me if you know which famous person this is from the 1980s.
That's David Bowie.
It was a new wave British pop.
That's David Bowie.
I've seen this before.
Yes, I've seen David Bowie.
I don't know if that's David Bowie or not.
No, you know this person. You're a fan of this person.
Who are you talking to?
It's Ricky Gervais.
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of Ricky Gervais?
No,
I'm a fan of Ricky
foreign.
Gervais. I think he's funny.
For a foreigner, sure.
So apparently, before
Okay,
he was a
I
comedian,
like what he did when he hosted the awards. Okay,
when he told him, Epstein, you're all friends with him. Get over it.
Nobody gives a shit about what you have to say. So just come up here, thank your director, and thank your mom, and thank your God, and fuck off.
Yeah, Mars thinks it's Culture Casino.
That does look a little bit like Culture.
So before he became a comedian, he tried to be a new wave pop singer in the 80s in these music videos.
Well, yeah, I think we all did at one point.
Oh, Tina, I could see comics division with this haircut. Oh yeah, there might be Young Comics. Yeah. I just was like, I was shocked. I was like, Ricky Gervais tried to be and the song, it's super 80s British new wave. And I was like, I did not even.
Oi, I'm gonna put you in the oven like a magpie.
Wow,
Boy,
you're British.
I'm British.
Wow.
Fucking dead on, right?
I thought you were doing your New
mean-
Zealander there for a second, but then it
Well,
really
they're all
came
kind of the
together when you
same.
talked about the pie.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I
Mix.
was I felt that I was in England again around, like it transported me, man. The only other time you've done that well with your impression was
Zombie,
You're-
what the hell do you mean he's too tall to be comics? There is no reference point by which you can gauge this man's height.
that's a good point.
Hold
He's
on.
just-
Chad was complimenting me.
I was gonna say the only other time
That's
was
why I
when-
was jumping in and trying to interrupt it.
I was gonna say when you channel the Pope's Exorcist. Now
Oh, yes.
that accent. It's like I'm watching the movie.
Yeah. It's me, the Pope's of Exorcist. Good with God.
That was half British, half pirate.
Okay, this is really stupid, but now I want to parody Pope's Exorcist that is Mario.
No, if you watch the Pope's Exorcist, he sounds like Mario.
Yes.
it's on the Plex server, so you go and like
I'm pretty sure it's on
Russell Crowe.
Netflix as well in 4K.
Yeah.
The Bride of Slender, she watched it.
Oh, really?
not a
And then
fun
she
movie.
came up because I
What?
was just playing video games, doing my own thing, and she went and watched the Pope's Exorcist. And she came up halfway through the movie and was like, she looked fucking terrified. And she comes walking with me, and I'm like, "What's wrong? What happened?" And she's like, "I made a mistake." I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, I thought it was like I didn't think it was gonna be a scary movie.
The Pope's Exorcist? Oh, that sounds like a neat little rom-com.
She's terrified of possession stuff. She thought it was like a documentary about exorcisms from back in the day.
I mean, it kind of is. It's just, some of the locations, names of people in, events changed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe completely committed to the Italian accent.
Oh,
It
100%. Did you know
Yeah, I mean-
it was his idea to keep the moped even though he had to cross oceans?
I know that when he goes up there, like, Russell, we can get you an accent coach. He's like, no, I watched some Chef Boyardee commercials. I'm 100% prepared for this.
Does this sound like I need any coaching? No, I don't think so.
I played all the Mario games. Don't
Every
come at me.
time-
He's got a violent temper. You probably wouldn't want to challenge him if he thought his accent was good.
Every time I go to the museum in Italy, they're like, "Oh, can you give us the tour?" And I'm like, "Hey, no, it's me, Russell Crowe. I'm just doing an accent."
And you're like, "Russell, your accent is shit." And then he punches you in the face and goes, "Wahoo!"
I don't even know. Say, all right.
Boo-ah-hoo-ah-hoo-ah.
Oh,
That reminds me of there's this clip from Modern Family where Gloria pops out and she goes, "Welcome to your nightmare, ho 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 ho." it fucking cracks me every time.
yeah, fighting around the
Oh.
world. That was from South Park. That was a great, great episode with Russell Crowe.
Oh, that was Bottle of Water. I could not figure out what the hell that
Bottle of
was.
water. Oh, okay.
Bottle
And
of water.
wait, am I Irish? My English or my Italian? We'll wait for him to respond.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
if chat will
let's
catch up.
just let awkward silence permeate
Awkward
the entire
silence.
stream while we wait
Awkward
to
s-
see
yeah.
if Zombie Box Reviews wants it in English accent or
Now,
Irish
A
accent.
truly giving person
Or
Matt, would just do it
Italian.
in both. Oh wait, that's exactly what he went with. Try
Jesus.
both.
All right, bottle of water. Okay. Oh, it's about the water.
That's Italian.
Yes, he said both. That's one.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Oi, bottle of water. Nailed it.
I feel like I'm listening to Friday Night Tights and ads is right here on our panel.
Oh, no energy drinks. No, wait, that's more like critical drinker.
That's
Dude, I
Scottish
wish we could
for
get
you
Az
dudes.
on our panel. Me and him talk about video games. It'd be so much fun. It'd get really loud.
You know, Mad tried to get you on a panel to talk about video games. With
I did.
Lofty,
I
and
did.
Yes.
you were like,
Yes, he
"No, I
did."
won't do it.
That was bait. Okay, that was
What?
fucking bait.
Man, you crazy.
I
Bait.
mean, I don't know if you get that from the giddy chats Mad was sending after he dropped the bomb on Culture's chat.
Oh yeah, we know.
One of them was, imagine whoever set this up just sitting there laughing maniacally from the live chat.
You were. All of a sudden, the DMs started blowing up, and it was Matt's like, "You should see this. Look what I'm doing."
Yeah, and then you tried to drag me into it, and you know what I have to say to that, Mad? Shut it!
You know what the funny part is, Slender, is you did get dragged into it because you started making comments in the chat.
Oh my god, I could not stop myself. I was seething.
These are my friends. Yes.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all have seen this show. I finished all 3 seasons, but Only Murders in the Apartment?
In the building.
In the building?
Yep.
Fucking great.
Yeah, I like
really fucking liked it.
All right, so did you
loved the music?
I thought the second season dropped off a lot.
Of course. Yeah.
I liked Paul Rudd being added for the 3rd season.
Yeah, I think the first season is so strong it kind of carries you through that second. And then the third.
The second had the whole storyline with Claire like Devin.
Oh yeah.
And Selena Gomez just annoyed the shit out of me. It was like, this is a waste of my time.
Funny you describe it that way, Mad, because that's how I felt about the Continental. That first episode kind of carried you through the second, and then the third was okay too.
The Continental was 3 episodes. Only Murders.
I couldn't
in the
even get to the
was
first
3
one.
seasons.
That's what I'm saying though. That first episode of the Continental carried me through the second because the second episode sucked, and the third was pretty good too.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Yeah, that's exactly kind of what it's like. But anyway, I finally got the girlfriend watching it now, so I get to watch it again. Because
dude, the wife has been going through the old entire seasons of
Gilmore Girls.
Quantum Leap. No, Quantum Leap. I forgot that those were hour-long episodes.
Everything used to be
42 minutes.
Well, hour-long.
An hour
you would calculate
TV
for commercials.
Yeah. Jeez, this guy.
Yeah, really. Technically, it was only 42 minutes.
Did you know that 30-minute sitcoms are actually 22 and a half minutes? Prior to the 1967 agreement, though, they were 24.
Zombie says
I'm
he's
Trad.
on season 2. You know that I'm nitpicky about details.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it.
Slender just playing with the clips.
Dude, I saw a list the other day about the most underrated westerns, and fucking Tombstone was on there.
That's considered an underrated western?
Yes.
Isn't that like a incredibly popular? Isn't that like a lot of people's favorite western? I don't think it's underrated.
Yeah, it is the iconic western of the 90s.
I mean, a lot of people will tell you Unforgiven is the better one, and I will grant you Unforgiven might be more cinematic.
Yeah.
But Tombstone is the one you watch.
Well, they're both cinematic.
Dude, like an underrated western is Waterworld.
Because they're both on cinema.
I mean, I would say Open Range is like one that would be
I
underrated.
like Open Range a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the one you could put on an underrated list.
Appaloosa.
Did nobody catch that? Come on.
No, I didn't.
I said an underrated western is Waterworld.
Let's see. Mars saying it's overrated. Good. Nothing about Tombstone is overrated.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Just Doc Holliday alone.
Yeah. I mean, Kurt Russell was actually really awesome in it, but he gets so overshadowed by how good Val Kilmer is. I mean,
the genre gets overshadowed by fucking his Doc Holliday.
You get Val Kilmer in there just being amazing, and then you forget that Sam Elliott was in there doing a great job as one of your brothers. Bill Paxton was in there.
Bill Paxton, yeah.
You got friggin'
fucking Bean.
What's his name?
Bean.
Yes, Mars,
Powers-
I know
Powers
Waterworld
Booth.
is not a Western. That was the joke.
Michael Bean. The very beginning of Tombstone, I love when Michael Bean is like, "Your Spanish is worse than your English." He's quoting Revelations on a pale horse.
What the fuck, Mars? You are the one. You are the only person.
The only
Because I have tried to watch this movie a couple of times.
the only person I've ever met that actually liked the Wyatt Earp movie more was my father, because he just wanted like a 4-hour Western.
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, no, I liked that it went into his whole life," and I was like, "Oh my god."
I get it.
Here's
but
the
like,
thing, though. Like, even with a great, heroic figure, the vast majority of their life is probably boring.
yeah,
That's
a
why
good point.
That's why you focus on basically that 6-month period where Wyatt Earp was in Tombstone, because that's the part people care about. The OK
Well, was-
Corral.
what-
Like,
What-
if I'm talking to Jocko Willink, right? I'm not going to ask him, "Hey, man, what'd you have for breakfast today?" No, I want to hear about the SEAL shit,
So what's
Uh,
interesting though is that movies will even go out of the way though to leave out the most interesting parts. Like with Reverend, one, he never had a son. That's all bullshit.
What the hell is Reverend?
The
Revenant?
Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio getting,
What am I
bald
saying,
I
head.
know
Reverend?
exactly what he was trying to say.
Revenant?
I'm just
There
gonna
you
call
go.
The
it
fucking
Leonardo-
bear movie. My God.
It's the Leonardo DiCaprio Baldur's Gate mod.
Yes. Anyway, ooh.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was pretty
dude.
good.
Like the lead up to that with Hugh Glass. I mean, he was Shanghaied, which means he was made. He got captured by pirates or whatever, and had to be a pirate. And he escaped by swimming to the shores of Texas, where there was Indian tribes waiting to kill him. And they put fucking pine needles. They stuck his buddy with pine needles all over his body, and then set him on fire. And the only reason he got out of it was because he had some kind of red fucking dust that's good for red to make red dye. And they're like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, you like this? I just had it here in my pocket. Okay, I'm free now." That's just
Well,
a part of the beginning
do
leading
you
up
really
to the
think
bear.
Hollywood is ever going to portray the indigenous peoples as savage killers? Like, that
Oh, yeah, the
engage
whole-
in torture
yeah,
or anything
no,
else.
no,
They're
no,
never
they
going to do
did.
that.
Did you ever watch Last of the Mohicans?
Oh, that was a good
Yeah.
one.
I mean,
Last of
when
the Mohicans, great example from
I will
30
find
plus
you.
years ago.
But man, when Mohawk goes in there and he burns the guy alive, he's taking the daughter.
Yeah, this is the point, right? Nowadays, just as the victims. That is the only thing they will ever portray them as.
I mean, when did Last Mohicans, was that 91 that came out? So yeah,
Yeah,
that
if not
was-
sooner.
Like
Yeah.
I said, 30 plus years ago.
that movie and the score for that movie. is
I love
awesome.
the score. It's one of the better ones.
What I love is just that I can watch that last like 4-minute action sequence
Yeah.
just on repeat. When you see Pathfinder, Hawkeye, whatever you want to go by his name, when he's running around and they make a point of showing him picking up the rifles and dropping, like, because you can't reload those ones super efficiently. So
Mm-mm.
he's just like, I'm gonna drop the one I just used, pick up the other ones that are loaded, and then shoot them.
Yeah, it's great, dude. And Daniel Day-Lewis knocks it out of the park,
And then the chief, right, when he finally goes up in that Mohawk ass, thinks he's positive, and then he just crushes him. Like, oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, this is a great movie.
If anybody hasn't seen Last of the Mohicans,
Don't watch the trailer first. I dated a chick and she had never seen. I'm like, "Oh, dude, this is such a great movie." And I played the trailer, like the original trailer, and she's like, "This is ridiculous," and could never take the movie serious because of how bad the trailer was.
Yeah,
In a world torn by
by war.
beavers.
I was going to say, I can't even remember the trailer.
I bet it's bad.
I mean, yeah,
It must be.
I don't. I feel like you think there's
My
a
whole
risk
story depends on it.
of a copyright strike if for watching a trailer. From a
Michael Mann
movie?
is an underrated director. Andy, you're right about that.
All right. It's a minute 53.
Did he do that Miami Vice remake?
I believe yes, he did.
Man, that movie was gonna be so good if they weren't so goddamn whiny and also the whole Cuban thing.
All right, let's see if Mad's comment holds up.
I bet it does.
All right, we got to make this really transformative, though.
Yep.
Because
I don't say shit. Gets to say shit.
I'm gonna say shit just to say shit, so that we've got that transformative element.
Thinking of it in Boston.
Frontier is the only land available to people. Out here, they're beholden to none.
Okay, did they do something? Did they speed up his voice? Why does he? The frontier, looks like this, dear.
He sounds
like
like
down
he's
here
from
on
a
the
40s
frontier.
radio station.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
The humanity.
He's like, well, I'm clearly going to use my Knickerbocker accent.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. It's Daniel Day-Lewis. He was probably knee deep in whatever. Did you remember in Lincoln where he had that, like, I'm going to have the whiny, high-pitched voice?
I didn't watch Lincoln. Are you kidding me?
As a new land was being carved.
As a
out
new
of an
land.
untamed frontier.
A new
Oh,
land
man,
carved
somebody
from an
fucking-
untamed frontier.
Somebody creamed their pants when they wrote that.
That was just the trailer voice guy. Line.
I don't like the verbiage there, like that.
No.
As a new land was being carved from an untamed frontier.
Yeah, I don't like it.
What would be your alternate take line?
I just don't know what they mean by carved.
I mean, they could
And
have.
they're talking about a land being carved. They're not talking about like carving out a society or bringing like civilization to
In a
an
time.
untamed frontier. A frontier is land.
Yeah.
So how are you carving a land out of a land?
In a time where two worlds were collapsing in on each other in the new frontier.
I don't know. It's
Fuck off. I had 2.5 minutes. This motherfucker had years.
it's just, to me, it sounds like one of those attempts at making something sound
Yeah.
more profound than it is that kind of fell flat on its face.
Yep.
Turkey. Carving the turkey. There you go. Let's see.
Just dropped in to see how you boys is doing.
See, that's such a weird line. Like, it works in the movie, but here it kind of makes the whole thing look kind of playful.
Yeah. This is not a playful movie. I do
No.
like that he's like, we're gonna go French and Indian War Navy SEAls over here.
What was his name in this movie?
Hawkeye or Pathfinder is the different
Meet
names here.
Hawkeye. He's a newly single Native American adoptee trying to make it in the world of
Oh my
the
God.
savage.
You need to make a rom-com trailer out of Last of the Mohicans. Her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know,
Meet Cheryl. She's a busybody know-it-all from England. These two.
I didn't know Steven Seagal was in this. Oh yeah, he does have the look right there.
Yeah.
Defiantly courageous, stood his ground.
I told Paul
Why is the trailer guy voice just like matter of fact about it? Defiantly courageous, standing his ground. Like
Dude, he was unimpressed with these lines too.
he went complete of native. Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis is a full-on method actor, so he probably did. I definitely would not want to have been around him in Gangs of New York when that was filming.
Oh, yeah. That's such a... Oh, man, I should rewatch that in 4K.
Zombie, we weren't the bad guys, we were the winners.
Okay, this was the French and Indian War, so they weren't even fighting with the Americans at this point.
Yeah.
They were,
Yeah,
But you're still the
I
bad
don't
guys.
think- Yeah, well,
Well, though on the other side are the French. So it's kind of...
They did
Oh,
make
boy.
a point which was historically accurate about the British not being very good to the colonists being able to go defend their actual homes if that needed to be done. So yeah, it's just the truth.
our colonial scouts were in the militia.
I ain't your scout. You sure ain't no damn militia.
As
dude,
he
he
fights
doesn't
with the
talk
militia.
much like he's a native.
No.
Well, he was adopted, so
Oh, so he's cultured.
Yeah, I think they actually sent him to school, didn't they? When he was
Yeah.
young, him and his brother both.
Where
I
he
mean-
learned words like ain't.
Yeah,
Well, he went to frontier school.
yeah. When I wake up in the morning and the Mohawks are burning down my field, make it on time.
I know. I guarantee Tina over here that she loved this movie. I guarantee that Mr. Bojan probably took her on a date to that movie to get her hyped up. It was a romantic action movie. It was the best of both worlds.
Say by the corn. There, nailed it.
One woman, fiercely independent, followed her spirit.
Dude, I was just bullshitting earlier.
Oh my god.
That was basically fiercely independent. How is that any different than she's a busybody know-it-all? I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
I like the confirmation from Tina over here. Yup.
Yep.
Oh, by the
Did
way-
she ever ask the Mohawks if she could speak to their manager?
I do do you like how the woman being fiercely independent cut immediately to her gunning down a native person?
Yes. Fiercely
Independently.
independent.
Father warned me about people like you. He said, do not try to understand them. Do
I
not try
think
to make them
all
understand
fathers
you."
warn their
Thank you
sons
so
about
much.
women.
Yeah.
I watched a I forget what YouTube channel, it's one of the historians, actually breaking down which movies are accurate and which aren't. And the battle scenes in this movie were rated like some of the most accurate for the era ever put on film. So that's another positive point for it too.
What'd they say about Glory? One of my all-time favorites.
Glory was a good one. They ripped apart the Patriot.
Why? Wait, hold
that
on
the-
though. Why? It was like shot for shot. What happened?
I think they were going on how they escalated a few things with dramatic license.
I
for that
mean,
one.
my God, it was as if like the historical record was coming to life on screen.
Look at this. We saw the movie together as friends 2 years before we started dating. Last of the Mohicans laid the groundwork. There you go.
Laid the groundwork so good. Take Bojan could lay the pipe.
Wait a second. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's good. Take one.
He's good take.
That's right. And then Emperor's over here. Well, they used to. Now they're only fan.
They shared an adventure.
It was a war party. That means they're going to be attacking up and down the frontier.
Right, his voice sounds off.
Yeah, I hate the way his voice sounds.
But in some scenes, the voice is fine, like in the movie.
I don't. It's been a long time since I paid that close attention. I'll have to watch the movie again to see if he does that.
I like how he's rowing his ass off and she's just sitting there with a slack-jawed idiot look on her face.
Are those the actions of a criminal?
And into each other's hearts.
Well, yeah, when they're not committing crimes.
Dude, she has the
Totally.
same expression in every fucking scene.
That's Madeline Stowe. That's what you get with her. It's
Who the fuck is a Madeline Stowe?
that one right in the middle of the screen.
Madeline
dude,
should be stowed.
Have y'all ever seen Only the Brave?
Which one was that? No, I don't.
That's
think so.
that's the one with Josh Brolin, Taylor Kitsch, fucking everyone is in that goddamn movie. Miles Davis Jr. Nope, the white guy. Tanner Teller.
Dude, wait,
Miles
wait,
Teller?
Matt,
Miles
what's
Teller.
that
Yep.
term? Where you do a voiceover after the fact?
The ADR.
ADR.
Oh, maybe they ADR'd it after they realized he sounded like a bitch.
Maybe you've been sitting
He's
here trying to
supposed-
think of that. I've been going on this whole little thing.
He's supposed to have a British accent with a native tone.
Well, for some reason, I kept thinking rotoscope, and I'm like, that's
Oh.
not right.
So Only the Brave is they're not hot shots till the end of the movie, but they're like firefighters, like wildfires, and it's based on a true story. And I was super fucking high, and I bawled my eyes out. Fucking movie. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's like really good. They put a lot of time and effort into you liking the characters in the movie and showing them their bonds grow and how close they were before they break your heart.
That's how you have to do it.
Anyway, really good.
The war movies can get a guy, and it's allowed, and dog movies are allowed to get.
Yeah, it was a firefighter. I was like, ugh, gross, firefighters. But then they were like in the wilderness. I'm like, they're okay.
Did they play a shirtless game of volleyball to really suck you in?
No, but there was a lot of working out.
Oh boy.
Because what I'm interested in is right here.
Yeah, all right, so there was the shot where he's running and
Yeah.
just picking up the guns, and that was badass.
This is such a bad trailer. Her acting doesn't help.
Stay alive, no matter what occurs. I will find you.
Do you remember that? Like, that was like before the internet existed. That was like a meme line.
I think this came
whatever
out
you do,
almost
I
a
will
decade
find you.
before the Titanic.
No way.
Wasn't the Titanic closer to 2000?
Titanic came out in December of 1997.
Okay, so what, 6 years before this?
This one was 91. So,
Yeah, so basically almost an entire decade.
yep. And
I mean, rounding. Yeah, it's a rounding error. I had a rounding error. That's no big deal.
Yeah, but it's close enough to where I'm like, should I get steal it from him?
it was all right. So, of course, Tina remembers exactly since this was Good Take Bojan making his move on her. It was 92.
Setting it up for 2 years later.
Man, he was in it for the long game. Like, well played, sir. Well played.
No matter how long it takes, no matter how far, I will find you.
Academy Award winner Daniel Day-Lewis, Madeline Stowe,
I'm surprised they didn't say anything about her Academy Awards. Didn't she?
No
not have any?
nominations. No.
Yeah, she didn't have any. There you go. Produced by Michael.
God, that's
Mann,
gotta feel
directed
horrible,
by
right? It's
Michael
like
Mann.
Academy Award winner, this guy, and then this other person. We're not gonna say anything. They don't got anything.
The best is when they when you're seeing the movies and it's like Academy Award winner, this person, Academy Award nominee, this person, Golden Globe winner. They're just like they start going down the like tail end of award shows, like People's Choice Award winner.
It's like you don't just don't even.
Oh.
I'd rather you didn't say my name.
Michael
Braveheart-
Mann.
I was gonna say, okay.
Michael Mann did this in 92 and then Heat in 95. You want to talk about back-to-back fucking.
Yep. And you got to hear what Zombie's talking about. Rob Roy got completely overshadowed by Braveheart, but Rob Roy is a great movie. It's like,
I hear you saying that. Oh, Black Hat. Did any of you guys see Black Hat?
I was ambivalent on that movie. That was the one
Legit,
with,
I enjoyed that movie way more than I expected. I thought it was actually a freaking good movie.
Eclay says, I like the action, but not a big fan of the rom dramas. Yeah, this
Yep.
one is a full-on mix of all of those things. So
Oh man, we watched The Mountains of Wild Themes. It's this movie with fucking Emily Blunt trying to do an Irish accent and Christopher fucking Walken doing an Irish accent, and he's the narrator, and it is fucking amazing.
all right. And this is why I love Rob Roy. That sword fight scene at the end where him and what's his name from Pulp Fiction? The
Vinny Rhymes?
the robber in the store, the diner robber with his girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Tim Roth. Yeah, when because Liam Neeson, when they're doing the sword fight, and then this guy is a well-trained swordsman. He's just beating the shit out of the Scottish Highland dude. And so what Liam Neeson does is while they're sword fighting, he just grabs the sword with his hand because the guy was using one of those little rapiers. So he's just holding it and then he just cleaves him with his claymore. It was great. Yeah, Tim Roth was a great villain in that movie. And
Tim Roth is a great villain in all of his movies.
yeah, he was. And then sometimes I feel like he was very underused in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because
Yeah, a little.
his he was the best part for me of the Incredible Hulk. He, like his Bronski, which became the Abomination. And I know they brought him back and totally butchered him in She-Hulk, which is another reason that show is just a piece of shit.
Man, I can't believe we're not getting a second season.
What did you want to
I'm
get
shocked.
monetized? Being
just wanted a
monetized is what you wanted, huh?
No, what the fuck? I could be monetized now.
Oh yeah. Show off over here. I can be monetized now.
I could have been monetized a year ago.
Have you managed to edit around on Called to Duty yet to get it to be able to pass?
Not yet. Probably put it on hold until next week.
So
I thought you said that you were getting there and it was coming out. Like, what? There's a lot of things bad.
No, yeah, it won't let me upload it without it being blocked worldwide. So I gotta figure out. And I had already reversed it and and worked it.
What about the other one we watched? Didn't we watch another one?
Yeah, I'm editing that one now. I'm waiting on Shredda to send me her audio.
Oh. Disappointing.
And yeah, so that one's edited up to the point of where she joined because she joined late.
Did she? Hey, Slender, are you feeling like you need to smoke?
Do you want to talk about football?
I want to ask a question about.
Oh, okay. Yep, I'm gonna go. I'll be back.
Are you happy or not happy about McCarthy coming back?
Well, I'll say it like this. I think he has done better than anyone else we've had. I think as I think we're heavy, top heavy when it comes to talent. I think the players that we have that are legit talented are the cream of the crop. However, the drop off between that level, the Micah, the Dak, the CD, to the next level is far more than what people realize, which is why it kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
When they're on the road and shit like that.
All right, so the question, the thing that got me is I was watching that game with the Packers, and I feel like I was not the only one who was clearly seeing as like this is definitely going to be a run to Aaron Jones, because you've got your safeties playing fucking 12 yards back.
Yeah, this is something we never do. Yeah, we play more man than we do zone, but we decided to go zone this time.
I was like, what in the world are you doing? This guy's gashing you for 10, 15 yards at a time, and you're playing that far back when right up the middle is the weakest part of your defensive line.
Yeah, Mozzie wasn't. It didn't turn out well. Hopefully he'll pick up in his second year.
And is it true that the D coordinator is the one? Did Seattle hire him?
I don't know if they have yet, but I know he's, because he was the one that put together the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean, as a Giants fan, I won't say that I wasn't sort of pleased to see how the Cowboys and Eagles, more the Eagles, because I hate the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Yeah.
The Eagles are imploding at a level now that just gives me joy.
Well, see, I think theirs is organizational, not schematically.
Yeah. I think Jalen Hurts isn't going to be able, like, if you're a skinnier mobile quarterback like that, when you get those hits by playoff time, you are not accurate. You're just throwing it all over the place, and it's terrible.
But by the way, I think what some of the problem is, and people don't really talk about it, is the plate that is in Dak's thumb. Because if you notice, he cannot play in cold weather. Now, yes, they were inside, but it was 15 degrees outside. There's still going to be a chill.
I mean, I thought the whole stadium isn't like climate controlled and set.
Yeah. But it's still 15 degrees outside. right? So if you look at it, he also always starts out throwing high or whatever, especially when it's kind of chill, because that plate, that metal plate in his thumb or whatever, gets fucking cold. He's talked about how it bothers him when he gets cold.
If only he had a sleep number that was right for that.
This motherfucker.
You got Eclay over here. Jerry Jones is the Kathleen Kennedy of the NFL. No, I'll disagree
No.
with that because Jerry Jones won 3 Super Bowls as
Yeah.
the owner. So
That's right. If Kathleen Kennedy was in charge during the OT, you would have a point.
Yeah. So he and now he's dined out on those 3 Super Bowls for a long time, but and his son is, I know a lot of people who don't pay attention don't realize that his son is basically running most of that.
Steven?
And
Yeah. Well, no,
And
actually, I think Will McClay actually has more pull than even Steven. Steven's just that Jerry voice, you know?
True. And then his daughter obviously running those cheerleaders. Where my wife has rewatched the entire 15 seasons of that
Jesus.
Making the Squad Dallas Cowboys cheerleader show.
No.
And it was like they take stuff way too seriously on there. Let's see. Kathy is the new coach for the Eagles. That's why they're bombing so hard these days. You know, you could make a good argument for that because Sirianni is sort of like Kathleen Kennedy because last year was like his Force Awakens. And this year is his Last Jedi where he's dividing the fan base.
You remember that fucker showed up with his Beat the Cowboys t-shirt like his fucking Spirit Week in high school?
I hate
You're a
coaches who do
motherfucking
that shit.
professional, bro.
I know. And then what got me is when they were playing the 49ers and he had his little fucking security assistant getting into other players' faces, and they were trying to make a thing like it was his fault, like was it Greenlaw, where he was like, "Oh, Greenlaw was no. Why is this security guard getting in his face and pushing him? Like this is a player, man. Get off the field." Eagles are such scumbags. And I love that Philadelphia had to keep a goddamn courtroom in their new stadium because they had so much use for it.
Yep.
I think that I don't want them to fire Sirianni. I think they should because
They're
I
not
think
going to.
he was a smoke and mirrors coach.
Yeah, I think that you can see that his assistants, his coordinators were the ones that made the big, because look at, they left. Look what happened to this team. And then look at what they've been able to accomplish on their own, out from underneath Sirianni.
Yeah, I mean, look at the defense in Philadelphia last year, but when he had the coordinators, they were sacks all over the place. They were crazy. And this year, they just, especially the last quarter of the season, when you get boat raced by the New York Giants, your
and it's not
sucks.
It's not as if they had a lot of roster overturn either.
No, like
whether due
Reddick
to injury or not.
It was, yeah. I actually like the Cowboys roster for a quick, like if they, I thought if I was the Cowboys, I would have wanted a guy like Vrabel. I would have tried to make the change and go with Vrabel. Like I can't believe Tennessee fired him. But because he always seemed to get the most out of his players, and it's not Vrabel's fault. The organization went with Tannehill. Like I don't think he wanted Tannehill.
No one did.
Yeah, no one did, and they gave him that contract, and he was stuck with him. And Tannehill, he got them a number 1 seed, and Tannehill got them out of the playoffs with interceptions. So somebody like Vrabel would have probably done pretty well. I am definitely
He'll be one of the rare. I mean, if he does, he'll be one of the rare from the Belichick coaching tree that is successful.
There's only been one, and that's him.
Yeah.
And I think Jared Mayo is off to a terrible start in New England. Did you see his press conference where he was like, let me try to find. Like,
I thought he was just playing a year ago.
He is like he's going to be the youngest head coach.
We talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice.
But he started out his first press conference with talking about racial issues, and it was like, oh
no,
yes. Yeah, it was not a good look uh for let me see if I can find yeah, NBC Sport. All right, I
Man,
guess
I
that'll
think more people need to have. I think more people need to have that guide, like, to be like, you shouldn't say this. You should.
All right, let's see. I think this might be the clip.
Of all time and filling those shoes and, honoring and keeping the DNA that he infused and altering it in the ways that you see fit.
Yeah, this organization has had a lot of success over the years for a long time, and there have been many teams that, they have one good year and then they're out for 3 years. One thing I learned from coaches and from Thunder is about just surrounding yourself with good people, right? Surrounding yourself with good people. Now, as far as our staff and
Okay, I'm not
And-
seeing.
And to speak to that, by the way, nobody on New England has ever been successful once they've left Belichick. So, except for one guy named Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So, I think Tom Brady was the secret sauce. And Brahma's here. I hope
So
you feel
rather
better.
than rather than saying rather than saying the messed me up. Rather than saying that everyone that has left Belichick hasn't succeeded except for Tom Brady, how about you say everyone that has left Tom Brady has not succeeded
That's a
except
good
for
point.
Tom Brady?
That's a good point.
things like that, we're going to be good. We're going to be a lot better. Now, Bill always says this, managing expectations. For me, I'm not trying to be Bill. I'm not trying to be Bill. I think that Bill is his own man.
My name's not even Bill.
If you can't tell by now, I'm a little bit different even up here. But what I will say is,
Yeah.
the more I think about like the lessons that I've taken from Bill, hard work works, right? Hard work works, and that's what we're all about.
So it was
So
interesting.
cool.
Where's
Genetic fucking talking point.
I've got to find the clip where he actually
Genetic
said-
or generic?
Genetic. Genetically, he is more in tune to giving generic speeches because of
Here's
genetics.
what I heard.
Now save your breath and cool your parts. Hey, look, so it's a heck of 2 roof lights. The stylus house frame furniture and the Scotter cushions with the matching shark pack cover. Yeah, right. It's just terrible parts to the Periwinkle Blue bags.
The deal was he bought it how he saw it.
Here we go.
What the
He
fuck?
made-
I need with a caravan, no fucking wheels.
He made Media Matters. Right-wing media whine after New Patriots head coach Jared Mayo discussed diversity and racism at his introductory press conference. It's like, no, why he brought it up like out of the blue. It was ridiculous. I guess they're not putting that clip anywhere on regular.
Dude, there are certain types of people who are just looking for any opportunity to inject that into the conversation. Any opportunity. You don't have to be having a conversation about it. They'll find their in.
Well, I'll let you guys talk about anime or some shit.
What's
Oh, is that what we were going to next? I
I don't
thought we
know.
would-
I was gonna go have a smoke, so I figured since we get to talk football when you're gone, you guys can talk about.
But you're a
Weebologist?
bona fide
Yes, I know.
weebologist. I mean,
But people hate it when I just throw around my expertise around. You know what I mean?
I know is one. You haven't been on. Have you been on Lit Dev's show lately?
Not in a minute. No.
Because I know your favorite guy in chat loves when you make any kind of comments over there regarding anime. You have such a strong relationship.
Oh yeah. Chat loves me.
What about the Disney proxy war? Have we talked about that yet?
Yep, no, we can do that because I know Matt is probably ready to smoke. So
Yes.
I wanted to. Yep. So I'm bringing up. This is Nelson Peltz. This is from the SEC, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission. When you are engaging in a battle with the board of a publicly traded company, you actually have to file with the SEC that you want to do this. It's Confusing weeb with dweeb. That's Rudy Clay. I don't agree.
That hurts
with
my
that.
feelings.
That's yeah.
I'm a weeb.
So Nelson Peltz is actually, so when you file with the SEC, you basically are telling them what you're going to be sending to the shareholders of Disney to try to get them to vote for the people you want instead of the board that's on there. And the part that this is all a lot of legalese kind of thing, but the thing that I thought, which was just,
I was gonna say that is a veritable wall of text.
yeah, this is the part that I find is the most indicting thing. So, what Nelson Peltz put in there is how Disney has performed compared to the other stocks over the last 1 year period, one quarter, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. So the S&P 500, which is just the general stock exchange, look at how if it's in red, it means it's below. So in the one quarter, it's 32% below the average of the stocks on the stock exchange. Over 3 years, it's 66% below. Over 5 years, it's 89% below. And over 10 years, it's 168% below. That means if you, instead of buying Disney stock, if you had just bought what's called like a fund, where you buy something that just buys into the S&P as a whole, you would be 168% better off than if you had bought Disney stock. I feel like that's a pretty damning indictment of how they have run their company.
Well, they've also laid off shitloads of people this year, but Bob Iger made $31.6 million as Disney's CEO in 2023.
That's right. Do you
know what's funny about that? I always go back to Nintendo. You know, the Nintendo CEO, his salary, not his salary, but his earnings as CEO of Nintendo 1 year were $4 million. And so he cut his earnings in half the next year so that he could avoid laying off employees.
Yep.
But not here in America. In America, it's like, yeah, fuck it. Get rid of all your people so that you can keep making more money.
Well, no, in fact, what a lot of the CEOs will do is they'll do the giant layoffs and then give themselves a bonus for the savings that they've now given the company by laying.
Yeah, because the company needed that money so that I could have that money.
There you go, Empress. He sure did. That's a culture that understood honor. That's right.
It at the very least understood taking care of your fucking people. Like, I don't know. A lot of these corporations, like, layoffs should be a last resort. And I get it. Sometimes you got to trim the fat, but Disney didn't have to trim the fat. The reason Disney had to go to layoffs was because they fucked themselves. And then the people who made the decisions weren't the ones who had to bear the brunt of the pain. No, it was all the people who had no say in the matter, who had to take responsibility for bad decisions by the people who are still there and all gave themselves a nice bonus at the end of the fucking year.
Yep. And this is, I'm going to get to the next part. So one of the things that gets filed is actually showing how much money and shares they own. So right now, these are the shares that Trion Group, which is Nelson Peltz, controls. So the group that he owns, which is Trion Management, has 32,337,000 shares. They also have voting control over Isaac Perlmutter's 35 million shares. So that means they have control of about
You mean 25 million shares? That looks like a 25.
Yeah, but look here, the Perlmutter Foundation
Mm-hmm.
also includes 700,000. Perlmutter Trust has
okay. So they're almost at like 37.
So Perlmutter is probably the single biggest individual shareholder of Disney. And he got that because he owned Marvel, and when Disney bought Marvel, he got a lot of it in Disney stock. And Bob Iger kicked Perlmutter out First, he kicked Perlmutter out of running Marvel and let Kevin Feige run the show, and we've seen how that went. And then Perlmutter got laid off at the beginning of
Dude, Bob
2023.
Iger is a grade A pile of shit.
Yep.
Like, if you are taking the reins, you are the CEO of a company, a corporation, whatever. You become responsible for that company. You are taking that responsibility. So why is it that when the company fails, you refuse to take any responsibility for what's happened? And you just make everyone else suffer for your fucking terrible decisions. And even if you didn't make the decisions, you're the top guy. Like, those decisions fall back on you.
Yeah, Emperor's is right. Bob's personal pride was, and other ideological decision making was more important than employing people. And it goes deep into destructive narcissism. You know, he's a big believer in himself and the terrible decisions he makes. I love how people like to complain about all the things Disney's are doing, and these are not the people in our sphere of YouTube who are well aware, but general people on Disney websites and things will complain about Genie Plus, which is their new pay to cut the line system, or having to pay for parking at the Disney resorts, which was a new thing. All of these changes that they're complaining about were programs instituted by Bob Iger to wring every last dollar out of the people coming to their theme parks. I know we talked about it in the video game context, but in the theme parks context, Disney committed to monetizing their users the same way. They wanted to get a higher return per person coming to the park. And it shows you that they don't care. It's like you said, it's just money, but it's short-term thought process, and they don't realize how it's going to impact their longer-term standing with everything.
Well, and I don't know where like that corner was turned. I don't know if it was 10 years ago. I don't know if it was 50 years ago. I don't know if it's 100 years ago. I don't know if maybe it just never really existed. But it used to be that if you started a company and got into an industry, it was because you were passionate about that industry and you wanted to give the customer the best shit you could give them, to do the best, to make cool shit, to be awesome. But now it's like, oh, well, none of these people actually give a shit about the industry they're in. They're just CEOs with MBAs that they got at prestigious universities. And their only goal is, I want to get into that asshole's wallet and take everything out of it.
Do you know?
Like, he doesn't give a shit about what kind of content they're putting out. That's why it's all bullshit. That's why it's all garbage.
Do you know how Bob Iger's start was with Disney?
I vaguely remember. He's not the kind of guy you'd think would be running a place like Disney. That's
he
for
was
sure.
he was a weatherman, and and he rose up through ABC, which Disney had acquired.
You guys won't believe who wanted to talk about scars with me.
Scars like the firearm, or scars?
Scars that I wish you saw.
All right, over there. Red chili,
fucking
red
chili
hot
peppers.
Tina over here. We used to go to Walt Disney World once or twice a year. The last time was December 2020. They've made it too expensive to bring a family. Once or twice a year. Jesus Christ, you're made of money even if you were going through 2020, Tina.
Dude, the last time I went to Disney World was because our ship was in port down in Fort Lauderdale before a big training cycle, and they were like, hey, we're sending a bus over to Disney World if anyone wants to go. So I went, and I just walked laps around the Epcot Center and drank at every country over and over and over all day.
Sarcastic Mr. Know-It-All. Brahmabull's there for you, man. Yeah, a weatherman is a man who's used to or okay with being wrong at least 40% of the time. My favorite thing to watch is when weathermen completely botch the storm forecast. In Virginia, it can happen where they'll be like, oh, it's just going to be a dusting, and then you end up with like 10 inches of snow, which shuts this entire place down for a while.
They don't need to know about that part.
And
Go back into your room.
are you putting her in timeout in the real world now, not just?
I'm putting her in timeout for real now. She's giving me funny looks.
But if you watch the weather, the next
Don't
like
flip me off.
Oh, now I'm interested in what's going on. And what was the problem here, Slender?
What? She gave me she flipped me the bird from across the room. And then she grinned and walked away.
Did you get your sandwich though?
Not yet got a sandwich.
Uh-oh.
She made cabbage soup though. That was pretty good.
Empress is insinuating that a spanking will come next, which is inappropriate.
Yeah, that happens after we go off air.
All right, let's see. Tina, I was married into a family of major Disney fans. We have a
Wait,
Wyndham timeshare.
we get to
right in the
spank each
middle of the
other?
park.
What? No. Bad. Put you in
Leaving her.
timeout.
Guess I
Stop
am
kicking-
leaving early.
Stop kicking Matt out. You know that he went through a lot of trouble shaming someone to be able to be on our show tonight. You can't just kick him out. We have an
I don't want to
obligation.
see that scar tissue, okay? I do not wish I saw it.
By the way, Matt, is that why you do you have to like do anything besides the message in the group, or does the message in the group result in the fine?
Well,
You
it's
can have
usually
some-
me. It's usually when I go in there, like, okay, I told all the guys.
that it was your fault.
Yeah. No, I left that part out until
he
after I
does
already
the
had it.
sad puppy look, and he's like, I told him I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be able to make it tonight. And then she's like, why do you sound so sad? And you're like, it's fine. I mean, you didn't happen to throw any of those pills in the toilet so I could Neil Breen them, did you? Like, because I'll do it.
I would.
Oh, it worked out well. It's I like it was, what was it, 5 minutes later? Okay, guys, I'm good.
Yeah, it was quick.
It was pretty rapid turnaround.
Yeah, it was. Oh, by the way, Matt, for Ark, is it because like is she not able to play at all on a Steam-based system? So that's why, right? Why we have to do it?
I uninstalled it. It was not worth the effort of trying to figure out why I can't play.
Well, if you did it on Steam, where Slender already has his
Yeah,
server set up-
I'm aware.
Yeah, you could be in like 5 minutes after you spend an hour and a
What?
half downloading it because it's like a ridiculously huge game. But
What I'm asking is Shredda incapable of running it through Steam?
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
we were doing it on Xbox.
I was about to say, because I won one of my fantasy football leagues, so I got a decent payout. I was like, I will pay for her Steam purchase so that we can just do this.
guess you weren't betting on the Cowboys, huh?
No,
That's not how fantasy football works, Slender.
I know, but it's still funny.
No, it was a crazy fantasy concept. It was called Best Ball. It was I don't have you ever heard of that one?
Nuh-uh.
So you draft your team at the beginning of the season, and you can make no moves, no trades, but the system will automatically put in your optimum lineup every week, whatever the highest scoring people are. But you can't make any moves. So you're stuck with whoever you drafted, so you better make sure you had backups if they get hurt.
Yeah.
And so I ended up winning this league, and it's because I got lucky because I drafted Kyron Williams from the Rams as the backup to what's his name, who got traded to Minnesota. And I drafted Jacobs with the Raiders, and so I was like, oh, he could get hurt. I better get Zamir White. So because I had done in fantasy football they call that the handcuffs.
Yeah.
By the time playoffs came around, other people, their teams were decimated and didn't have starters, and I still had these guys who ended up putting like 25 points on these games because they were like coming back healthy from injury. Plus, I had James Conner for Arizona who came back, and I was like, man, this works. I was playing people who didn't even have a quarterback because this season was terrible for quarterback injuries. So, like one guy I was playing had Aaron Rodgers and his backup was Daniel
Oh
Jones.
no.
So,
Oh no.
and he thought that was plenty for a whole season, right? Nope. By the last weeks, their quarterback position just didn't even have a score. So it was the first time I'd done a fantasy football league like that, and it was very different, very interesting. So I ended up winning the pot on that one. So it was pretty good. All right.
I will let y'all finish out your normal things because I got to get going. But I'm glad I got to come on.
And Bride of Slender plays on PC, so she could play too.
All right.
I know. So you got to get going. Well,
Yeah, I got to get going.
Thanks for guilting her into doing that.
No problem.
Tell her I appreciate that. I think
I will let her know.
Slender does too. And next time she needs, obviously she's managing things without you knowing. So we'll count on you here for next Friday as well.
Next Friday, no. Nope. But I can on a starting Saturday do things.
On a Saturday?
Yeah.
Do we do? I don't think we do. Are we? Yeah. Do you have a movie ready to go for us to watch?
Yeah. We have another Neil Breen movie.
Oh, it's been long.
Is it time? Is it time for the latest Neil Breen movie?
Coming up soon.
Oh, it has. That's right. It's almost due for digital release, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I was just looking for it.
Oh, This is the one with the tiger, right?
Yes, it's so fucking awesome. All right, I'll see you guys later.
All right, later.
Bye, Mad.
Bye. I mean, we have to space out our Neil Breen watching. Slender, you have to get Bride of Slender in the room to watch a Neil Breen movie too.
Bride of Slender categorically refuses to watch any more Neil Breen movies. She is still trying to figure out the last one she watched. And like it's getting to the point where it's like the movie thing where she's got all these random newspaper clippings up on a cork board with like red string going across the room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, she can't figure it out. And I was like, there's nothing to figure out. It's just a terrible movie. And she's like, no, there's got to be something here.
I think putting that much time and effort into like the genuine plot of Neil Breen is not worth it. It's just going to break you.
No, it will never work out for you. Don't bother.
She can just go back to watching Quantum Leap and having a good time.
It's true. Quantum Leap is just sheer brilliance too, because like he can play anybody in any episode with the way they set it all up.
As long as
it makes sense.
Because Dr. Samuel Beckett theorized that one can travel in time within their own lifetime. That's right. He can stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
I like you're probably in the earlier season, so you haven't got to the episode where he was playing like Dr. Ruth from the 1980s.
I watched it a long time ago, so I kind of remember a lot of these episodes.
I still don't own this stream. No, you don't.
Not yet.
One of the peak for Quantum Leap was actually, I think, the 3-part episode where he is intertwined with this woman's life and ends up having his daughter, who ends up working at the Quantum Leap lab and he doesn't know it. I don't know if do you remember that one where the first episode of the trilogy, he leaps into the guy who was this woman's father. The second episode, he leaps into the fiance of her when she's older and they have relations because Sam Beckett did that a lot in Quantum Leap. And in the third episode of the trilogy, he leaps into an old family friend lawyer who's defending her after she's being accused of a murder, going all the way back to like the first episode of the trilogy. And it was crazy, crazy entertaining. And I thought, from time travel show wise, the concept worked really good. Let's see. Did he ever meet Ziggy? Ziggy was the computer, so I guess you could
Ziggy
say
Stardust?
yeah. Zombie over here. I would give my right arm to secure an interview with Neil Breen. I don't know if that would be worth it, Zombie. I mean, Neil is probably a great interview, but I don't know if I'd give up a body part to secure it.
Well, then you're just not committed.
I mean, would you? Do you think it would be? I mean, clearly, I should start sending messages to try to get him on our show.
I mean, I've got 2 arms, little Chad. Like, I always considered one of them to be a spare, right?
You're lucky you have 2 arms after your inflatable sledding incident.
Oh, that is not the worst incident I have experienced. Believe me.
Do you have
during underway replenishments, I got a lot closer to losing an arm. I'll tell you that.
Is that with very heavy duty naval equipment?
It's very heavy duty line handling evolutions. People not understanding how to fucking fake out lines.
What is the worst injury you encountered in your time in the Navy due to someone's incompetence and not at all like enemy combat or anything? Just
had all the skin ripped off both my hands at one point. On the palms.
That's pretty terrible.
Very specifically, it was during an underway replenishment, and we were handling the phone and distance line. And that line, it's got like the old like fiberglass sticky pointy fabric all over it. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the thing is, when you're handling the line, there's usually a bosun with you, and they'll fake it out. And we had a really junior bosun, I guess, but we were holding the line, and the guy faked me and one of my guys into the bite, which means instead of faking it out away from us where we were standing, they faked it out behind us. Right? Now, the problem with that is if it's behind you, so there's a 90-degree turn and it goes back behind you, the problem with that is if it starts pulling toward the other ship, like the first thing it does is that line goes into the back of your legs and starts wrapping your legs. So you could get tangled in that line very quickly. And if you get tangled in a line like that and pulled through a bullnose, those ginormous ships will pull you through that bullnose. And the bullnose is not big enough for a human body to fit through. So it'll make you fit. Right? And they did, even though we didn't need to, it almost always happens anyway as training, but we did an emergency breakaway. And we were unrepping with one of the civilian ships, and they have winches on their side. So they just started winching the line back, right? Mm-hmm. And it starts pulling real hard, and I look behind us, and I realize we're faked out into a bite, and this is a bad situation. So I clamp down on that line as hard as I fucking can. And, well, I'm not going to beat a winch, so this fiberglass wire just starts going through my hand and just shredding it. I'm bleeding all over the damn place, and I yell at my guy. I'm like, get out of the bite, get out of the bite. And I start yelling at the bosun, like, why the hell did you fake us out of this bite? And then I bitched out everybody on that whole fucking, on the forecastle, including the guy in charge of the bosuns who was overseeing the entire line handling operation. And he sent me down to medical and called up and said, hey, yeah, he's out. He's done with the evolution. I was not happy. And then I spent the next hour and a half down in medical with HM1 pulling all the little pieces of fiberglass out of my bloody, marred hands.
Ugh. That's... Ugh.
Yeah, I was angry. I was angry because that's day one shit. Like, you are a bosun's mate. You went through the school for this shit. I'm just here as a body to do the menial labor because I wasn't trained in line handling. How the hell do I know line handling better than you?
Yeah, I mean, if you were still in the Navy right now, I would say that there was maybe some equity and inclusion thought process involved. Because I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that
that's part of the reason I'm not still in the Navy, because I do not like the political aspects of that organization.
no, that's pretty bad. Oh, I did want to. We have a suggestion that if I'm ever able to secure that Neil Breen interview, we should have Mrs. Slender, the Bride of Slender, come in to interview him. And since Bride of Slender's next comment was, "Oh, good lord, that man's stories drive me crazy," I am telling her that I will be trying to secure the interview, and when it happens, she has to be on the stream to deal with it. Because I just want to hear Bride of Slender trying to ask genuine questions to make sense of Neil's stories. I think it would be great. But when you did this, like, and she's going to be looking for rational explanations, and I don't think they're there.
Yeah, don't try to make it make sense. It never will.
No, I think that's the mistake, is trying to assuming there's a logic there. There isn't. There isn't. Oh,
There's a great story here. I know it.
I don't like. I don't know where she's coming from thinking there's something to it besides just. I feel like it when I watch one of Neil's movies with Mad when he does that. The way I've been able to make peace with it is just considering it random vignettes, random moments in time that are strung together into a movie. So
Could be. That's probably a decent way to look at it.
yeah, zombie over here, she would leave that interview even more confused. I would count on it.
As would we all.
I think so. We've covered all our planned topics. Did you have anything else you wanted to mention? Any fun suggestions with the new anime lineup for winter anime? Since Mad brought it up, I do know that Solo Leveling has been pretty solid so far.
I've heard a lot of talk about Solo Leveling. I mean, I hear that everyone is loving one of my favorite new animes. So,
what's that?
Which is well, it's obviously Frieren.
Oh yeah, well, Frieren is great.
It is very, very good, and it's a strong female character. Wow, it's amazing how you can actually pull that off if you know how to make a fucking character.
I love and in fact, it's two strong female characters.
Yeah,
because once you get
backed up by a strong male character that they joke on him every once in a while, but he's not the butt of every joke. He's not a total piece of shit. He's not completely without agency. He's actually like a pretty kick-ass adventurer in his own right.
Yeah, I mean, he blew up a mountain in their first like encounter with him.
Dude, he killed a dragon. And I loved the way he killed the dragon because he was like, you only need 30 seconds, right? So he goes and he starts fighting the dragon and he fucking nails it in the head with the axe. And Freeman's standing up on top of the cliff and he looks back up at her. He's like, what are you doing? Why aren't you attacking? You said you only needed 30 seconds. Come on. And he's like, come on, you old hag. And she's like, old hag? And he's screaming at her and she's like, it's already dead. You killed it. We're going to have a talk about you calling me an old hag.
Yeah, there was because if I remember right, when he's confronted in the village, he's basically chickening out, so he goes to train to fight the dragon, to be able to fight the dragon and not be.
Well, he was actually Freeren's old companion, the dwarf from the party, was the one who trained him, and they had a falling out. So he thought the reason they had a falling out was because he wasn't living up to the training. When in actuality, the reason they had a falling out was because the dwarf was in total awe of how powerful he really was.
Yeah,
So
and
kind of cool. I actually really like the guy. He's pretty cool in that story.
and there's two new returning shows. Oh, ambient time for Tina. Good for you. That I'm a fan of. One that you mentioned when we were hanging out, but Banished from the Hero's Party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside is back.
Yeah, that's getting a season 2. I like
That's
it. I like it.
already got 2 episodes in if you watch it subbed. And the other one, and I think you had said you'd started watching it a little bit, was what is it's got a fairly decently long title. Let me get it's the moon show.
Oh yeah. It's the isekai one, right?
Yep. It's Moonlit Fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which,
Tsukamichi.
Yep, Tsukamichi. Which is also because yeah, ramen time. That's a good isekai too because it's got a good slice of life component to it where there's a lot of that going on. There's I think those are the big returning ones, but Free Ren, which is going into its second core, is probably still the best one to watch, and it's got a dub if you like dubs.
The dub is good.
You can go to the beginning and have a good amount of dubbed content already there. Mashal season 2 or second core, whichever way we're classifying that one. There is
Mashal is just fun. Mashal is hilarious. If you are looking for a show that just makes a joke out of everything Harry Potter, Mashal is the show.
Mashal,
and not in a mean way, but it just makes a lot of jokes about magic users, and it's basically if a dude bro who spends all his time at the gym went to Hogwarts and actually was really successful.
I will use it with hamstring magic because he sprints. And then Tina is making a good point. Mayor of Kingstown has resumed filming season 3 with Jeremy.
Yeah, they did announce that a couple weeks ago, which is awesome.
So I'm sure the King of Mayorstown will be back.
The King of Mayorstown may have to rejigger his subscriptions a little so that he's got access to that.
Yeah, it's going to be Paramount Plus, which is I should see how many users I can make on Paramount Plus. Since we live in close enough proximity, it might not kick you out if you log in.
Might not catch it. It'll catch it. Come on now. That's IP tracing. That's all that is.
Well, if you use a VPN, it's fine. Yeah, so that one will be good. And that'll be interesting because you guys did reviews of that on the Wednesday show, which doesn't seem to happen anymore.
I don't know. The Wednesday show doesn't seem to happen anymore. Then like sometimes I remember there's a Thursday show, but I usually remember after the Thursday show is almost over, and I'm sad about that.
Thursday show is Aluminum Sport, right, Tina? And you're I guess
that is correct. That is where they talk about like conspiracy theories and stuff, and aliens and UFOs, and they really need me in there as the resident skeptic because.
And here we have a sample clip from the Thursday show.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaverate, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you'll get. That's a sample of what you'll get on the Aluminum Sporking show. That's clearly Scott over there, the Sporking News, and Tina would be the person sitting next to him. Go, yeah, sounds great. Sounds right.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
I will say, by the way, there is a completely there's the most inappropriate. That movie was funny, but yeah, definitely weird. And Embers, the names are wrong, but the ideas are sound. So, yeah. But the most inappropriate new anime of the season is Gushing Over Magical Girls, which is available on High Dive. And one of the things that High Dive makes its living on is having uncut anime.
Yeah, it's the Cinemax of the anime world.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've heard of this show yet, but
I have not.
It is. Do not watch it with your girls in the room. It is. If you check it out, it is. It's funny though. It's like it's done. It's done as a comedy, making fun of the magical girls like genre, but magical girl from the most people in the U.S. The most experience that you would have with magical girls would be Sailor Moon. So
Yeah, but Sailor Moon was good. I liked Sailor Moon.
All the women took over and life was better, the movie. Yeah. So if you've seen Sailor Moon or any of the magical girls like animes ever, and you think the genre is ripe for comedy, the gushing over magical girls is a good one. There's another show on High Dive you might like, which is My Instant Death Ability is Overpowered.
Of course.
And I still think you need to go back and watch Eminence in Shadow if you haven't already. Because you'd
maybe
really enjoy that one. And Farming Life in Another World is available dubbed over there now.
In English?
Yes.
Because there's what is it with my campfire cooking skills or whatever?
Yeah, that one.
There's one of them that I keep seeing on Crunchyroll that I want to watch, and then it's like it's dubbed, but it's like dubbed in Spanish and Dutch, and I'm like, that's.
You're thinking of Campfire Cooking in Another World.
Yeah, that annoys the shit out of me. It's like, why do you ask me what my language preferences are if you're then going to lie to me by telling me that this is dubbed in a language that I don't list as one of my preferred languages? Like,
I love that Gate is still one of the most popular animes on on High Dive.
That's because of the good anime.
Yeah. So
like solid.
Yeah, so if you I know you haven't logged into High Dive in a while, but check out Eminence in Shadow has 2 seasons worth of dubbed anime for you to watch that I think you'll really like.
I'll check it out.
Diane Wiest won't be returning for season 3 of which season are we talking about?
Are we going back to Mayor of Kingstown?
Mayor of Kingstown. Okay, I was like, where does she? I guess Zombie's catching up on the chat. I mean, how integral was she to the show?
I don't know. I'd have to look up the name.
Diane Wiest is an older woman. Like,
oh, her. Yeah. Well, nothing of value will be lost. I hated that fucking character.
Yeah, Zombie confirms Mayor of Kingstown is what he's talking about. So yeah, but Slender says that it's a worthless character. It's taken out the trash and nothing of value will be lost. I don't have any reason to disagree. I suppose I should catch up on Mayor of Kingstown since I have Paramount Plus.
Yeah, she's the mom. She's the mom who teaches the inmates at the women's prison and is always like, oh, I want to make a difference and criminals are cool and I'm okay with it. She's awful. She's absolutely awful.
Getting a consensus. Clay agrees she was very annoying. Brahma is confirming she was the mom. Brahma, did you feel she was annoying and a useless character that will not be missed? Let's see if he has that opinion or not.
If he doesn't have that opinion, he's wrong.
They're short seasons, right? They're like 9-10 episodes.
Yeah, I think they're usually about 10 episodes, but they're like an hour long.
Zombie, thank God she's finally gone.
Yep. Ding dong, the bitch is dead. The bitch is dead.
Which old bitch? The wicked bitch. Oh. You know, that movie does not... There's some things that shouldn't be upscaled to HD or 4K. And Wizard of Oz is not really benefited by going to that level. because when you see like the fully restored digital like 4K version of Wizard of Oz, you're like, man, those costumes really just were felt.
Yeah,
wrapped people.
I can see what. Oops, I didn't mean that girl is poison. I meant to highlight she won't be missed, but it might leave some holes in the story. I have to imagine if that lady ain't coming back to play the part, they're gonna put somebody else in because she is the two main characters' mom.
Or they'll kill her off.
Or they'll kill her off, but I doubt they could do that off screen. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like they're gonna have a different mom next season.
Yeah, it is terrible when they have to kill somebody like that off screen. Because you want to have some kind of resolution.
I want to see her suffer. Like, come on. You made me deal with this bitch and her proselytizing for 2 full seasons. Like, give me my payoff.
E-Clay comes in with probably the best way for them to take the character out. I wonder if she'll be taken out by a snowplow.
Oh boy!
And then die from her injuries. Yeah, that would be. Would that be a traumatic filming day for Jeremy Renner? Talk about like he was just trying to be a good guy too. Like he was going to help people. I'm really glad he's recovered because.
Yeah, but you know what happens to good guys, little Chad? They don't realize when the bad guy ends the stream early.